Hi, hey everybody, this is Zoe N. Sugg with Comic Express. I'm here at C2E2 with Abby Howard. You guys may know her as one of the webcomics on Penny Arcade Strip Search. She also is doing her own comic. Well, she's been doing her own comic forever. That's Junior Scientist Power Hour.
Yes.
But she has recently been doing The Last Halloween. So yeah, you guys should check that out. That's lasthalloween.com. She's awesome.
Yes. It's very good, I think. And I'm an unbiased source.
Yeah. And I've only been watching the show for like a while and following you for a year, so I'm totally also unbiased.
Yay.
That's a thing. All right, so super exciting stuff about Last Halloween's coming up, right? That's ending soon?
It is ending soon, yes. I'm nervous about sharing details, I guess, but I'm not really sure why. But yes, The Last Halloween is coming to an end.
Cool.
Maybe there's more after.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
That's been really interesting for me because so many webcomics launch with this idea that they're just going to kind of go forever and they do gag-a-day, but you've had the story planned out for this long?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I love endings. I love arcs that end. Like, I feel like if you just always keep going back to the status quo or just keep going forever, it gets so exhausting. And there's no end in sight, so you just get tired of reading it. Whereas if you know there's an end coming, then you just, oh no, words. But yeah, it is easier to read if you know there's an end.
I feel that way.
I feel like you can do a better job with like character development and all that. So.
Right. You don't do the whole, Simba goes through his arc and then becomes the bad guy in the next movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care I was 8 when that movie came out. I'm still salty. So, let me think. What else?
Like, the whole point of a story is like a character, your protagonist, goes through changes. Mm-hmm. And then after they've gone through those changes, then it's like, oh, well, now that's done, and they're this new character now, and now we just kind of follow them forever as this much more boring person than they were when they had their first arc.
Right, and I think
you can't just keep changing them forever.
Exactly, yeah. The compelling part of a character is when you change it, but you can't keep changing them either. Like, they have to be a whole person at some point.
Yep.
That's wonderful. It also, I think, lets you move on to different projects. Is that part of the motivation?
Definitely. Last Halloween is a wonderful project, and I love it. But I have other projects that I have planned.
Interesting.
I don't want to stick with one thing forever.
I have actually seen a few of your fans just sort of talking about, the updates have stagnated a little bit recently because, hey, we're artists and we have lives. Thank you very much. But are you? So I guess to those fans, are you stagnating or are you planning other spooky things or what's going on there?
I'm not sure why they would say that. I've been updating pretty frequently. Like, I do once a week updates for both my webcomics. I've been keeping up with it pretty well in the new year. But
so you tweeters just got owned. Come on.
Yeah, shut up. Y'all don't know nothing. Also, I did a page count of what the Last Halloween... There is going to be a Last Halloween book. I get that question so much because people want it as a book, and I'm very excited about that. But yeah, there's going to be a book. Don't worry. And also the page count may be over 400 pages. Oh. And those are big pages.
Yeah, all in one book.
Yeah.
That's
so we'll
amazing.
see. I might have to split it into 2 books, but whatever I do, it's going to be a lot. And that's just a big old screw you to people who said I don't update enough. I update plenty.
I would say also your updates are when we read them, we just scroll forever. How many physical pages is that?
On average, it is 7 to 12.
Nice.
Sometimes it'll go up to 15. Every now and then I'll have a 21-page update if it's a really big action scene because I want to get a lot of it in one scene. I don't want people to have to keep clicking the next button every single page, especially doing 3 updates a week. Some people suggested I do that instead of once a week, but then it splits up the action and it feels like it's longer and dragged out, and that's where people start to think that webcomics have pacing issues. They don't. It's just that they get uploaded a page at a time, and a page could have one action on it, so you think it's a really slow comic when in fact it's going to take 2 seconds for you to read through that entire scene. So I would rather just put out the whole thing at once a week than have to split it up and have people lose interest.
Right. Well, and a 22-page comic book, that's a standard Marvel monthly. So you're
but those
doing
are half pages.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. Because I was just thinking you're doing that much work in a week.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So basically divide that in half, and that's a standard page that is going to be in the book.
Okay.
So a 7-page update would be 3.5 pages.
Okay. Well, and you're changing up some of the format as well with your physical book, right? So this kind of makes these like two different forms of medium.
Indeed. For the book, I'm going to have to move some stuff around. I've already had to do a little bit of moving and editing, and it's tricky. So when I started it, and when I started to do like the weird continuous canvas, well, I wouldn't say weird, but like a continuous canvas kind of comic, I got a few people who were like, you aren't thinking ahead, you don't know what you're going to do for the book. And I'm like, for the book, I'm going to fucking figure it out. Don't worry about me. It's supposed to be viewed online. It's a webcomic. So I don't need to stick to some kind of a page format if I don't want to. And I don't want to. I want to, blend it with the background of the website. I don't want it to feel like you're reading something that you should be reading in a book, because that just makes it more frustrating.
Well, and that's actually something that Scott McCloud's pointed out in some of his Making Understanding Comics. Like, he loves webcomics, but he doesn't. I've seen some stuff where he's like, I don't understand why you just don't like break the boundaries more often.
Yeah.
This isn't a page. Like, do that some more.
Yeah, so webcomics do a really good job. Emily Carroll does an excellent job of canvas, like really working with the web canvas.
Awesome.
Like she does some weird diagonal comics sometimes. She's wonderful.
What's her webcomic?
Emily Carroll, she does short horror comics. So just look for Emily Carroll, that's Carroll.
Awesome.
So check her out if you haven't. I'm sure you guys have already heard about her. She is super famous and great. Anyway, but actually I find it kind of interesting when I first started to update and like had those like continuous canvas things, somebody was like, hey, I don't think you understand what you're doing. You think it's going to work, but it's not. You should really read Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud. Meanwhile, I have like a signed copy of it, and also in it he talks about continuous canvas.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I think maybe you should read it, because he talks about webcomics and how they need to start changing up the format. So goodbye. Anyway, they retracted their statement a few updates later.
I think cartoonists need some sort of like, not like a mic drop, like a pen drop or something. We just or we can just draw a microphone.
I'm sorry if you're that person. I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's one of those like, it's really interesting. People online too.
They really want to tell me how to do my job sometimes.
Right. I love it when readers tell me that too, and I'm just like, sit down with me. Grab yourself a Sharpie.
Anyway.
Nice.
But I mean, I really love getting comments, and even if they're like critique, thank you. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm really dismissive. I do take all of these comments to heart.
Yeah, definitely, and I think even it's an Oscar Wilde quote, right? The only thing worse than being talked about is being not talked about. No publicity is bad publicity. Yeah,
I would much prefer people speak about me than not care about what I do.
Right. Yeah. If nothing else, you're like changing up the format, which is, even though some people are sort of like awkwarded out by it, is really cool.
Yeah, they'll get used to it, and they did. So that's good.
Right. Yeah. Well, and your Twitter and all your social media are totally healthy. You've got a ton of readers, so clearly you're doing something right.
Yay!
Awesome. Well, yeah, we can't wait to see the book, Abby. Thank you so much. Is that the first place that you've announced this?
Yes, besides like a few people who have talked to me on Twitter and been like, hey, are you making a book? And I'm like, yeah, I'm making a book. So yeah, cool. Besides that, I have not announced it anywhere. There's going to be the last Halloween book. It's going to be really huge. Please support it. I think you're going to really love it, and I'm going to cry when I get it. It can be a bonus tier on the Kickstarter, the copy that I cried on.
Oh, can we get the video? Is that like on your Patreon?
We'll get there.
Awesome. Well, yeah, guys, Abby Howard is awesome. She does crazy delicate line work. Okay, one more question. How long does it take you to hatch a page? Good God, woman.
Geez.
And how much carpal tunnel you're developing?
My hands are great. My hands are strong and never hurt. For now, because I'm 23, but we'll see how it is soon.
Yeah,
Anyway, but let's see. Gosh, I don't even know how long it takes. It depends on how much cross-hatching there is, I guess. But let's say an hour and a half for an 11 by 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you do your shading separately from your inking, or do you just do like one panel at a time?
I do shading separately from inking. Yeah, I do like the initial outlines, and then I have second outlines that I go over and like thicken lines, and then I get on to the tertiary inking, which is what I call it, but that's like all the hatching and stuff.
Okay. Wow, that is a process.
It is.
Goodness. All right, guys, check out Abby Howard. It's jspowerhour.com or last-halloween.com. She makes some amazing stuff, and yeah, I'll be seeing you guys soon as I'm covering C2E2. Thanks so much, Abby.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.